Good morning. It is Friday, March the 11th, and I don't usually keep up with the date, but it's my youngest son's 34th birthday. So, wow, time flies when you're having fun. Happy birthday, Ian. Oh. Okay, so this is the day that we're going to take all the stuff we've been working on for the past month, I guess. And what I'd like to do is maybe just review, just touch on this a little bit. And then I'd like to talk about how to finish these things up. If you're trying to, you want to, we've done all these layers, we've done all these colors, we've done paper, we've done all this great stuff. And now we're to a point where we need to finish it up. And you might look at what you've made and say, I like it. Here's one. I like it, but it's not quite finished yet. It just needs something, and I'm not real sure if I even know what it needs, but I'm gonna, and there's that fear of, okay, if I do this or that, am I gonna ruin it? Is all this gonna be for nothing if I mess it up? But you know what, if you don't like it the way it is, what's the point? Good morning, Bridget. How you doing? I hope everybody is well at your house this morning. Just for anyone who's new, popping in, my name is Kelly Cameron. I live in northwestern North Carolina in the mountains, and I do these demos just to make art available to people, just, And I do have a Patreon account, and I do appreciate the support that I receive there. And I can, if you need the link, I can send it. I didn't put it on the intro to the video yet. I'm sorry. Discombobulated this morning. I forgot to charge my iPad. And when I came in this morning, it was at 12%. So I was like, ah! So I've been running around with chargers and, so I'm a little, anyway. But I'm here. It's all good. And I want to share with you some of the things that you can do using well, let me put this where you can see it for sure. There we go. I want to show you what you can do with Golden Fluid Acrylics. There are other companies that make fluid acrylics, and I'm sure that they're a fine product. I just have these because this is what I discovered when I discovered it maybe 10 years ago, and this is just what I have. So these are the fluid acrylics. What is a fluid acrylic? Well, when you go to the store to buy paint, a lot of times they'll have these three black lines on the front, and they'll have a swash of paint, and this shows you what this paint does, how transparent it is, whether it's opaque or translucent or whatever. Also, Liquitex does this. Golden does it. Oh, and you know what? This one, the one bottle I pick up doesn't have it. Okay, let's pick up another one. This one does. Okay, on the back of the bottle it has a little graph, and it has like little sliding needles that it talks about transparency or opaque. Let's see, matte or gloss, thin or thick, low tinting or high tinting. And these little dots are put at the appropriate place. And interestingly enough, and see, some of these are older, so they don't even have that. But the ones that do have it, they're different. Each one of these, they didn't just put the same label on the bottle. Each one of these is different according to what the properties are for that color. And that to me is really neat. It means they took their time and they assessed everything. And I guess these are just older. I'm going to say that these they've got directions on them, but Anyway, it's, you just shake them a little. If you shake them too much, they'll get kind of foamy, and you don't want that. This is a paper palette, which I really like because there's no sides to it. So it's wide open, and it gives you room to play. I want to talk to you about the things that we've been working on for the past few weeks. This is a faux encaustic, which is, in my mind, my goal was to make art that looks like it's encaustic or wax, so it should have some depth, sort of a waxy and, you know, look, milky kind of looking, real soft. And I'm big on that. I really like the quote-unquote faux encaustic look, but I also like to use a whole lot of this medium matte super heavy gel, because I build it up in layers. This has a lot of layers, and when you hold this up close, when I drew some of these flowers, there's so much gel medium on there that as I drew like a tiny line, it actually cast a shadow on the beige on the very bottom, because there was a height difference between the line I was drawing and the beige paper on the bottom. So that was pretty cool to watch. These are the ones that I sort of used to advertise what we're doing today. And these I call it glazing, okay, for lack of a better term. Using these to do this, to put some tint on here. This came from these fluid acrylics. I'm tongue-tied this morning. I just can't. Blah, blah, blah. I need to go do a speaking exercises or recite something this morning, get my mouth in gear, which is funny because my mouth is always in gear, but bear with me. So I did add this color here. This was kind of like this. It was nice, but it was very plain. So now I put this, I'll call it glazing, on here, and I really love how it filled the spaces. It gave it added color. It just finished the job, and for me it just made it really interesting. Some of this yellow or gold came down here on this and turned a little green. Some of this teal or whatever got up here and turned these little silver marks a little bit teal, a little blue looking, and it made this gold paper even more gold, which to me is just great. Well, hi Leola, good morning. How are you? Hey Johnny. It's nice to see you guys popping in. Thanks for saying hi. It's so nice to have you here. So, yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see good old friends. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one again was like this. It was kind of plain, and I added those colors over here, and I just want to I mean, this is what makes me happy. I don't know if this is something you guys would do, but you know, when I finish a little collage and I'm like, yeah, it's okay, but it just needs some pop or something. And I've done paintings that were great, but at the end I'm still not happy with it, and I've done a layer of this glaze over it, and it just makes it, it's like, oh, that was it. That's what it needed. So I want to take, I've got a couple of things here, some samples here, and I want to show you. This is a piece of collage paper that is partially collaged and detailed. I didn't finish it. I was just holding it for, you know, I'll need this for something, and then I'll know what to do with it. I have these that are, this is just cardstock that I have collaged with paper on. Again, I'll just use these to show you how this stuff works. This is a piece that I've more or less finished, and I'm going to show you how you can glaze in sections in detail with that. And this looks like a lot, but we're not going to be here all day. Today's going to be a relatively short demo. And these are really pretty, and I could even, these already pop. These are beautiful, but I can make this pop even more, which is fun to me because I love to make things bright and happy. So, and this is something that I had some paint on my palette, and I just needed to get rid of it, and I wanted to build it up on paper if nothing else. And I started this and didn't finish it. I don't really love it, but it's a really great piece to use as a sample in this demo to show you the difference that these glazes can make. So I can show you that, and then I can use it or not use it later. So why don't we start with this one. This is as good a place as any to start, because it's just like, okay, here's a picture, and you can recognize these colors. They're not too far out. I've got some hot pinks and stuff here, but this will be a good place to show you that. And what I'm going to do, if I can find it, is I'm going to use some of this satin varnish as a medium. And I think the thing to do is to put some of that into this cup. All right. And now let's think about this. What color do we want to glaze? Do we want to go with a, here's a Quinacridone nickel azo gold. Okay. If you can say that real fast 3 times, you get a prize. So you only need a drop, okay? Just a drop. It's very strong stuff, and we're gonna add varnish to it, so it's going to take it down a little bit. It's gonna, you know, we won't need that much. I'm gonna put some of my favorite colors out, and through going through these pieces I showed you, we will be able to play around a little bit and see what they all do. Now I have, these are the same. Haha. I used the old one first, the phthalo blue. Okay. And, oh, this is pretty too. This is a phthalo green. And yeah, I'm getting it all over me. Okay, so just you know what, I'm gonna put 2 of those, because you know what, I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna use it all up. Oh, let's see. I think that's probably a good start for that. I think that's a pretty good representation of the colors, and that's sort of a turquoise. It's slightly different than that. We'll play around with it. Okay, so I'm going to use a couple of brushes here. I've got this, you know I love this brush. I've talked about this brush before. This is basically I would call this a chip brush, but it's not like one from Lowe's. It's a Lang Nickel brush. It's actually made by an artist supply company, but this is held together real well. I'm going to need to get some more of these. Okay, so what we're going to do, I think that what I want to show you is, I can break this up into 2 colors, or I could do just one over the whole thing. The thing is I'm not sure which one I would do over the whole thing. So at this point, what I want to do is use the little brush, and I want to mix some of these up and see what colors I get. And then I can make some decisions from there. I'm just putting some of this varnish down. Now let's start with this orange, which is a favorite. See how I'm just pulling a little bit? You see that? And you can use as little or as much varnish. Bridget, yeah, chip brush. Sorry, I just saw your post. If you go to Lowe's and look in the paint department, they have brushes like that they're inexpensive, maybe $1, and they look kind of like this, and they're used for just little things. Usually they're like a throwaway brush, and they're cheap. But the thing is they don't stay together real well. You can be painting along, and the bristles will kind of come out and that kind of thing. So this one is a little nicer than that. I hope that answers the question. So this is just a very little bit of varnish. I can come in here. Let's take this and go over this flower. You see how that changed that? Just ever so much. What I should do actually is paint half of a flower. Okay, you can hardly tell a difference there. So what I'll do is add more orange. So you just play with it a little bit. There we go. See how that's different? I'll add a little more orange. Here we go. And it just adds, it puts a whole new shine on things. Now if I wanted to go pink, I could get into this pink over here. And then, yeah, I've still got orange on my brush, so, oh no, that's fine, Bridget. So here's this color. It's I made sort of a rose. Come in here and do this. Everything now has this pinky rosy look. See how bright this is? See how vivid? Let's do half of one over here, and you can see what it does. Now you may do this and say, well, I don't like how it's taken away my white lines. Or you may say, oh, that's just what I needed. I can't stand the white lines, and that just really tones it down. See how it changes that flower? And the neat thing about these, let me find my, paper towels right here. One of the neat things about these is you can do this. You can dampen a paper towel or something. And you can, if you want to, if you change your mind, you can fairly quickly take some of it up. Okay? So it depends on what this has been sealed, I believe. So it's fairly receptive to me. Let's say I can come right here and take it all off if I want. See that? So you do have options. You're not married to things. Let's take this pink and this blue. So that's really strong, isn't it? So this is kind of a blue glaze, and let's put it on this flower. A bluish purple, kind of a. Okay, now see, that feels heavy. So I would not keep that. I would take it off. So you're going to make things and figure out how translucent it is, how opaque it is. Hi, Carol. How are you? Good morning to you. You'll have to make these decisions. You'll have to figure out what your overall desire is for this as you go. And one of the things I do love to glaze or to do, this sort of antiques, this will antique something. And I'll get into this color right here and have a fair amount of varnish. And you can go over the whole thing like this. And it'll kind of antique it. See that? It gives it a golden hue, like almost like a sunset or something. And if you wanted to do, you could come in here and do the same with the pink. And you can put as little or as much as you'd like. Maybe you don't want that yellow on the sky because it makes it look green. So maybe you want to keep it to your flowers. And maybe you want to go in with a little pink and come in here. So it's fun. It's a fun way to add some pop to your artwork. And you can do, like I said, you can do the whole thing, or you can do one flower, or you can do... So I come in here with this pink and just kind of put it in here. The right side of the painting has this pink hue, and the left is sort of golden because those are the colors that you see how it changes. It can change the whole picture. And you can come in and glaze the sky. Maybe you could do everywhere but the clouds, or you could go stay off the tree. You see how I'm just sort of need some more stuff. You can give everything it's like looking at the world through rose-colored glasses, right? So it's just a little pink going on, or a little whatever. You can come around things like this. You can blend it, do a gradual blend. You can make a sunset here. Sky's the limit. Here's a little orange. Put that in there. Fun. Okay, so this is what this does, and it's really fun to come in and oh, Leola says I came in late to the party. What's the gel medium? It's a Liquitex matte super heavy gel. It's super thick. And I've been doing so much of this lately. Look, this was new like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. But it's that thick. And actually, if you're not going to use it a lot, when you're done with it at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt it to spray some water in here like this. Just mist a little bit of water. And then when you put it away, chances are it'll be nice and, you know, if you don't do that, the stuff on the sides especially will start to dry out and get hard. So that's a good way to keep it soft and ready to use. This glazing thing, let's do a little, before we get out of this, let's do just a little blue in the sky. I want to show you guys. Woo! Wow, look how bright that is. Let's do some. And this is like super loose. You know, it's like if your painting got too tight and you want to come in here and be, you know, loosen up. And you can do like this. I'm just quickly going to put the blue on. And then I'm going to come in here and probably wipe some off and just see what that does. And I'm not going to wipe off a lot. I'm just going to wipe some off. You're welcome, Leola. I'm so glad you're here. So I'm going to clean up around my flowers here just a little bit. Yeah, this gives you a certain amount of flexibility here. You can sort of, you know, and you can dab at this, or you can smear it. You have options. By golly. It adds depth to your work. And that's one of the reasons I like it. It's that depth thing and makes everything a little bit dimensional. Here's a flower that's kind of getting lost over here, so I'm going to clean him up and bring him back. So anyway, you see how that, even though I have yellow over here and pink over here, it is, whoops, it is very, it really brightened up this painting. And this painting is, like I said, this is not a painting that's going anywhere. It's not special. It's just me really just messing around. But you see what that did. Let's get some green on that tree. And I believe, yeah. I'll add a little gold to that so we get a true green. And see, like I have this really pretty yellow over here, and it's very yellow, and I probably wouldn't use it for what I just did, but you can always use it like this to add to another color. See what that does? There's my lime green. What fun is that? You come in here and perk up this tree a little bit, see? Now I'm not going to go over my pink because I don't want to, you know, but I can let this green come out of the edges a little bit. Let it loosens it up. I can come in here. I can just, and this is where you might go to the small brush. Touch some of this. Come in here and do, you can green these things up. If they're a little too pink or too whatever. So it's all sort of an experiment, but it's fun. This adds depth and dimension. It adds pops of color. Let me clean my brush and I'll come in with the yellow. We'll use the yellow and see what we get. Just straight up yellow. We'll put it in on this guy. Look. And yet it's translucent. You know, it's, you can, let's put some in the tree. Okay, see how neat that is? You can see through it. You know, it's not opaque, but it makes a difference in your work. So just so you know, you do have options. You finish a painting and you it's just not talking to you. You just don't. You're not there with it. You know, it's just you're like, I don't know what it is. I just don't really. Maybe you need some of this. This is a really nice way to finish off. You know, like some of these things that we've been working on this week, this month. Okay, so I'll put this aside and let it dry, and I'll revisit this later, and I'll decide. You know, probably what I would do when I come back is get my probably my fine liner or script liner like this, and I'll get into some white that's watered down, and I'll probably come back and redo these with white or maybe with black or some other color. But that's what I would do, is come back and rework these another layer. You know, you can go back and forth and do that all day long, and it's so cool when you're done, and people look at it and they go, well, what did she do first? I see a lot of different stuff going on here, but I can't tell what's what. I can't tell what came first. And I really like the textures and the, you know, I like this better now than when we sat down today. Hi there. There's Mariah. Oh, how are you this morning? Thanks for popping in. We're talking about Golden Fluid Acrylics, and we're talking about how to sort of glaze with them. Now here's one of the tissue paper collages that I did as a faux encaustic this past week, and it's you know, it's okay. I think the reason I'm not crazy about it is because instead of letting this be like a butter yellow, like, because this was an attempt at faux encaustic, right? So all of these have I made them sort of a beigey, yellow, milky, buttery beginning color, right? All my papers were white and I made them beige. So that looks like an encaustic. So, well, sort of, but anyway. Even this one, see how the white is not pure white? Okay? So this is, see the difference between this and this? And I think that's what's making me go, no, I'm just not, it's okay, but, and I was thinking of intensifying these pinks and oranges and just going for it. And I don't know if I want to try the yellow also, or if I want to just go with an orange. I think an orange would be a little too much. The pink could be beautiful. I might mix them. And see, I don't even really know until I get in here and start. But I just wanted you guys to see, you know, because this whole thing about collaging and we've been doing this whole process for almost a month now, and this is like the tail end of it. This is like, okay, so here's an option. If you finish it, you're still just not sure, you know, and that's just what I wanted to do, is give you an option, because this is what I sat and did yesterday. I put this stuff on my finished pieces, and it made me feel like, okay, now they're ready to be sealed and I can let them go. You know, they're good. So I want to come in here and get into this pink here, and I want to just put some on here and let you see what that does. I can go around these squares, and it gives it an sort of an ethereal, like a softness. See how that added to that? Let's get a little orange and do that over here. I'm just going around the outside edge of this. I just want to give it some, it needs some color. I'm just not really happy with this white. Okay, and here's a little bit of the sort of the antique color. I can put some of that here. That would be good over here too, wouldn't it? You see that? How it just sort of, and all I've done, you guys, is mixed, I'll show you for those that just came in. I'm using Cheap Joe's Prime, really good satin varnish. I actually kind of like it. It's the one varnish that I can put over Posca marker work that doesn't actually just smear it all to pieces. Now, if you paint it to death, it will, you know, kind of eventually smear or whatever. But if you varnish and then get out, it's pretty good with the Posca stuff. Everything else makes it smear. I've had a time with that. And I have actually told you guys, if I don't know if y'all remember or not, but when you're if you're doing any of this and you're doing Posca work, before you put varnish on your work, you see what I did there? I cleaned my brush, dried it, and now I'm sort of, it's a little damp. I'm just sort of cleaning up these edges, making them soft. Just sort of a loose thing there. I have learned through trial and error that I really like to take my top secret collage adhesive, which is glue and water, glue and H2O. I like to take this and my chip brush and give all of it a coat of this stuff and then let it dry completely, and that somehow does not smear the Posca work, and it seals it into sort of like a matte finish, and it makes it so that I was thinking I had one here. Yeah. It makes it so that you can go with any kind of varnish and it really won't smear the Posca work. Here's one I've been working on. It's not finished. I've still got some little places to do. But this has been, I've done some Posca work, and I've put the glue and water on it and let it dry. And it's a nice smooth matte finish. And I really, yeah, a glow, yeah. Mariah says like a glow. She's right. That's, I'm sorry I missed your comment. I'm focusing on this, and sometimes I miss a comment. But so if I wanted to seal this now, because I've done the glue and water and let it dry, I could seal this now. None of this pen work would smear. Okay, so that's, you know, when you put this much work into something and you go to varnish it and it smears, oh, it's so sad. You just want to tear your clothes and cry. It's like, no! So, you know, that was something I discovered by accident in collaging with the glue and water, and I really like. I've been dealing with smeared Poscas for a couple of years now, and I'm really excited about that serendipitous discovery. So, back to this. I digress. Oh my gosh. Oh, and by the way, if you leave your brushes sitting in water, this is what happens. The water goes up through the ferrule, and it goes into the wood, and the wood expands, and then the paint chips and pops off. The next step is this ferrule will come loose, and I will not have a brush anymore. This is one got left in the thing overnight by accident, and it happens. I try not to. I don't even leave them for a minute, but you know. Okay, the glue and water ratio. The recipe for this. I get one of these bottles. It's a 4-ounce bottle of Elmer's school glue. And I take the lid off and I put it upside down in this jar. I squeeze it till it fits in this jar, and I let it just hang out and it all comes out. And then I put maybe 4 tablespoons of water in with it, and I just do this. Now if you keep the glue and water in a metal jar like this, and if you shake it and let this get all gluey and stuff, number one, your jar is going to be hard to open, and number two, this will eventually rust and get moldy and weird. So I try to just do this to mix, or you could use a handle of something and go in there and stir gently, but I try not to shake. Mariah says, "Oh, we have a bottle for the same thing." Yeah, you know, it's I've had a lot of fun with this, because the first time I shot, I said, I got this formula now, it's top secret, and it's like glue and H2O. I've had friends call me up and say, what is this top secret mess, you know? Anyway, but yeah, you just want it to be the consistency of like maple syrup, or, you know, pancake syrup something like that. I don't know if you can see that in there. Let's see. So it's that consistency. Can you see that? It's kind of like that. And that's what I use when I collage with the bleeding tissue paper. And it is just, and you know, I've collaged with varnishes and other things, and I just love the glue and water more than anything. It's the best end finish, you know, the surface is the best of any that I've ever seen, and I just really love it. Excuse me. A sip of iced tea. Okay, so do I want to do more with this? I feel like I do. This is a nice, gradual, gentle kind of start because I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so now I'm gonna do something else here. I might even, and I said I would not normally do this, but I might even use this yellow that I said I would not normally ever use. Let's use it. Let's see what happens when we put a little. Maybe this is all it needs, right? How about a nice Hawaiian punch? I kind of like that, actually. I could do the whole thing in that yellow. See, I'm here with you guys, and I'm supposed to be teaching, and it's really like I'm learning too. You know, we all learn together. That's what I love. Okay, so woo! Wow! How about that? That was fun. Now this is paint. Chips of paint from my brush, where the paint's coming off the handle. Mariah says, "There's always a fix. Never be worried about messing up." I say this also convincing myself. Yeah, I like doing this because then everybody gets to see, oh, she made a mistake, and she does this for a living. So if she made a mistake and she could fix it, I can make a mistake too, and it won't be the end of the world. It's not, you know, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And, you know, we learn from each other. And I'm not the queen of anything because, number one, I can't remember anything. And, you know, I'm like the goldfish in the castle. Every time I go around, the fishbowl is like, oh, a castle. And then 10 minutes later, oh, a castle. You know, that's me. So, you know, it's all good. So I kind of like, see how the yellow went across this, and I was playing, but it just, it's like, wow, that's kind of neat. So now I'm going to do kind of I want to do kind of an orange yellow one, and I want to just go across here. I think I'm digging it, y'all. I don't want it to look contrived, and I don't want to do too much, but this yellow's a little strong over here, so let's maybe tone it down with a smidge of. Now see, I feel like that fights with these colors, so what I'm going to do is come in here and just look at there. We have the freedom to choose, accept or reject, fix or redo. Here we go. Okay, that's better. And you know what? I think I really kind of like it now. I like that little bit of orange right there too. Suppose I could make that happen again. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm stopping right there with that. So in my mind, now it's bright and happy. It's got more going on. It's layered. You can see through the yellow. And to me, this is, I didn't want to kill these things. I love these for their cohesiveness and the fact that they're all sort of in the same color family. And, oh, and you see how the edges are a little bit ethereal looking? You know, see how the edges of this paper is not a sharp edge. I'm going to show you this. When you collage with this stuff, if you put it down, say, and you put on your glue and water, if you put a very, very thin coat of glue and water, when it dries, you will be able to see the edge of your paper just like it is right here. It'll be a nice line, and you'll be able to see it's a crisp, sharp edge. Now, if you are generous with the glue and water when you do this. If you put a nice syrupy coat on there and let it sit a long time and dry, it almost kind of dissolves at the edges, and it gives you this fuzzy, soft edge, which I just love. And again, I'm going to pull out this other one to show you. Well, I got two of them here. Let me move this. Let it dry. You dry, mister. This one, these strips were the first thing I put down on this faux encaustic piece, and they're the first thing on there. And that I put a lot of glue and water, and see how they're just kind of out of focus. And same thing with, now see this I did not. There's not a lot of glue and water on that. I put it down. Actually, I think I actually put this down with varnish, not glue and water. So see, the edge is very crisp and clear, very delineated. But this, you see this piece of tissue paper in here and down here? It had so much glue and water on it. The edges are completely gone. It's just like, it's so subtle and soft looking. So that's something neat to know. Okay? Alright, so let's do a few more minutes. Should we play with this? Would you like to see what the glazes can do to this? And they're not technically glazes, but that's what I'm calling the process. It just works in my brain. Hey Mariah, if you want to put a link in this thread for the next thing you've got coming up, I am totally fine with that. Because you guys, your stuff's fun to watch, and I think we overlap a little bit sometimes, and I think that's great. And the folks that are watching this might enjoy watching that. So I'm all about, you know, sharing. If you want to do that, you're welcome to. Or if nothing else, you guys click on her name and go look at her stuff. They make stencils and they do a lot of jelly printing and a lot of cool stuff and fun. So, okay, my brush is clean. I'm going to go back in here. I'm just going to, this was blue and green tissue paper that I wet and stacked, and this part right here is what the paper looked like, some of it, and I liked that. So I put down other paper, and I mimicked those blue places with the Posca pen. Leola, gotta run, but love this. Tutorial. This will come. We'll come back again. Okay. I'm like having to. You know what, y'all? I'm to the age where I have to tilt my head and look over my glasses to read stuff. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. The struggle is real. Leola, every Friday at 10 a.m. right now. That's where we stand right now. So yeah, please do come back. And this video will stay on my timeline for the duration. So, all right, let's get into this. Ooh, look at that teal. Isn't that pretty? So why don't we go this way? Okay, now that's a little bit, that's kind of thick. It's not as transparent as I'd like, so I'm going to thin it right here. I'm just going to add some more varnish to it and thin it. So you see what I'm going to get here is what I got on that other painting. I'll get like a plaid if I go up and down. Cool. Thanks, Leola. Appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Okay, now you see the difference between this and this? This is turquoise. And this one is, that's turquoise. Let me see where that bottle, here it is, it's hiding. Phthalo green, blue shade. Okay. So this is more of a green, obviously. So you could come in here with that and add some of that right there. That's fun. You guys think of doing this with your, like your jelly prints and stuff. You know all that paper you've got that you made? you know, I've got 5,000 pounds of paper in a stack over here. Well, guess what I did yesterday? I woke up, and before I even rolled out of bed, I ordered some clear plastic sleeves with the hole in top for hanging, and I'm going to cut some of these papers that I have here, 8 million papers. I'm going to cut them into 8.5 by 11 sheets and sell them by the sheet. I've got a place that said they'd sell them for me, the art school up here. And I'm going to take, like when I finish this, if I want to, I can embellish it further or stop here. I'm going to think about how much time I have in it, and I'm going to maybe put this in there to sell and realize a little bit of income for all this work, because I've got a lot of time in these things, and they're not doing me any good sitting around in buckets, and I'm not going to use all of it. So anyway, I ordered, and I also ordered a CEO size, which is, that's where I know Leola from, was the Art Cards Editions and Originals. We were part of a group, an eBay group, when eBay had groups. And an ACEO is Art Cards Editions and Originals. And it's like an artist trading card, but you can sell it. Trading cards aren't supposed to be sold. Only traded. Okay, what do y'all think of this? See, at this point, I could let this dry, and then I could come back with Poscas and do something. I'll show you something else. Here's another option. We've still got just a few minutes, so I'll play a little bit. I have Payne's Gray acrylic ink. Have you ever played with the acrylic inks? Daler Rowney. I just ordered, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 of these recently, and why not just put some on here? This is Payne's Gray. Okay, I just want to see what this does. That's just experimenting, and you guys, you know about experimenting. You guys do it all the time, right? Deb. Hey, Deb. How are ya? Good morning. And this is the gold, which I really haven't used yet. I haven't played with this yet. So I'll put some gold on there. That could be fun, right? Okay. This is like the greatest thing I've ever done, or it's going to be awful. And I don't know. I think I should let it run. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I should let it run this way. Maybe I should wet it. Do-do-do-do. Woo, look there. Hot dog. Okay, so the acrylic ink loves the water. The gold ink, not so much. Isn't that funny? So I need to get in here. I need to pull the gold up, or I need to move it around somehow, because it's just kind of sitting there. So let's just clean my brush. Let's just, you know, this gold is not as pretty as I had hoped. It's sort of, well, it is. I can see it. It's a little metallic, but it's not. It's just not as pretty as I thought it would be. That's okay. Wasn't as pretty as my mother hoped I'd be either, so. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. Okay. Wicked laugh. Okay, I'm going to take up some of this gold. It's getting a little heavy here and here, and it's interfering with my color. So I want to reclaim some of this, and that's no problem, because you can do that. I like what this Payne's Gray is doing here, and I think maybe I should do it again over here. Sort of get the feel back over here. I don't know, what do y'all think? And we could draw with this stuff too. I mean, we could see how this piece of paper is evolving as I go? Every change I make just makes things happen. Look at that. Isn't that fun? And I'm a 70s kid. I grew up with doing art with India ink. I'd collage with tissue paper and then put some India ink down and it would do this, you know. I think that's quite lovely, actually. Now there's not so much gold, and the Payne's gray is stronger. It actually looks black, but it's sort of overpowering, and it's puddling, and it's moving, and I like it. And I could, of course, make it do different things by lifting it. But I think I want to let it stay like it is. And perhaps, maybe, I might come back later and add some mini plaid like this, some little marks. You come in here and do some of that later. Just to continue with the plaid thing, which is fun. Right? Pull through there. Look. Ooh. Now, if I keep on, I'm going to have mud. Okay? So, stop. Stop! I'm going to put this over here, hopefully on something kind of flat. And see if that will dry. Okay. I hope I have it where it won't fall down. Okay. Now here's this piece. This piece it's on watercolor paper. It's a part of a sheet that I just cut down, and it almost feels like a piece of leather. You know, when you put that heavy gel medium on watercolor paper and you put layers and layers and layers of the glue and water and the gel medium and all this stuff, it starts to get kind of heavy, and then it kind of gets that it's flexible still, but it's very heavy, and I like that it's smooth. It doesn't have all kinds of buckles and things. So let me clean this brush and get it out of the water, because I'm funny about that. Get that brush out of there, and there's my other brush. It's still in there. Okay. Okay. Clean and dry now. All right. Ready to roll. I'm going to do some glazing on this crazy thing because it's crazy and it's pretty, but it is dull. And you know me, I'm a color girl. I want to have all these colors, so I'm gonna hit it again. I'm gonna put some of that varnish right there, and here's some of that yellow green. I'm gonna bring this up. See how that brings that up a little bit? That's a happier type yellow. Okay, I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing here. And this, by the way, has already had a coat of glue and water and varnish on it. So it's not, this is not going to ruin my Posca work. And see how that just, I can put the yellow on orange. It just kicks it up a notch. See that? I like what it does on the orange. Let's see what it does here. Ooh, yeah. That's fun. And if that's too much, again, you can always... I usually keep baby wipes in here, and at this point I might even use a baby wipe, but you can take up a little bit. If it's just a little too much, you can come in here and adjust a little bit, play around with it, get it the way you want it. If you decide that you like the thought of the fluid acrylics, I would recommend that you go and maybe just buy 2 or 3 bottles. I wouldn't buy 8 bottles, which is what I did. The colors that I use the most are the orange, the Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold. Let's see, the orange is called Transparent Pyrrole, Pyrrole, orange. I may not be saying that correctly. And then the phthalo green, blue shade. The pink is Quinacridone Magenta. Those are the four that I use the most, and now I like this too. So I have, you know, this would be fun. I probably should add this down here. But you see, you don't use much. You see, I've only used a drop, and I've pulled from it with the varnish. And you see how it just goes a long way. And I've had these over 10 years. At least 12 years. And they're still good. I just take them out and shake them now and then. So, yeah, they're not too expensive, I don't think. And you can get a couple. And just, because you probably already got varnish, right? Or you could even probably add that to your glue and water if you want. Let's see what this does. Not something I would normally use, but hey, let's step out a little bit. Step out on that proverbial ledge, branch. See what happens. Yeah, that brings that up a little bit. I didn't put that much color in there. It's probably more varnish than anything. But yeah, that's fun. I'll turn that so you can see it for sure. I know you're a little bit high up today, but I was trying to just get it so you could see everything I'm doing. I wanted you to see the palette and the work. So here's some orange. I'm going to bring up that orange and bring up these. See how it's making it brighter? And that's just orange and some varnish. And see how I'm painting in sections? I'm selecting where to put my color that I want to kick it up a notch. And I'm being choosy about it, and it has, it's, you know, it's a direct effect. It happens right away, and you can see right away what it's doing. And see, I love that. It just warmed that right up. Let's put it on this too. Yep, even over the blue. This little cutout piece. That looks kind of fun. It looks antiqued now. Makes it look a little bit like it's an old piece of ephemera or something. And let's get into this Quinacridone, I'm going to say it right, Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold, which is, it's like a orange, but it's more like an antique-y. And this will make everything you put it on look like it's vintage, maybe. See how I could do the whole thing. Look, I can just do the whole thing in it, actually. This is one of those, you know, I told you in the beginning that you could actually do an entire painting in something. This is one of those, look. And it just gives it a tone or a hue or like Mariah said earlier, a glow. It sort of puts it just takes it somewhere different. See, my blues went to green. Everything looks, that's nice. I like it. Now, if you do what I just did, and you paint the whole thing and you're just like, oh my God, I'm just not sure, you can, let's see, I'm going to spray this with water, just a little, come in here and you can adjust, see? You can pick and choose what you want to highlight and just take a little bit of that back off. If you want your turquoises to stay turquoise, you can come back. You know, you can adjust. Look at there. So it might be easier actually to paint the whole thing and then come back and remove a little bit. Than to sit and paint each little section, right? I do like how it brought it all. It makes it all a little more cohesive. This is actually gold paint from one of my paint palettes. So is this circle, half circle. I save everything, y'all. everything gets used eventually. So, and this piece is not necessarily a piece of work for anything. It's more my goal with all of this collaging I've been doing is to start to work on some of these 3 and 4 and 5 foot canvases that I have. And so this stuff will be, yeah, there's a method to my madness. A madness to my method. So instead of this little piece of work, what I'll have is a 3 foot canvas. And these little interesting pieces right here, that'll be some of these I'll cut up, put on the big canvas, and then paint and collage and stuff all around them. So there'll be an interesting, like a focal point for that. And that's why I have 8 million of these, you know, collage, devil may care, all different colors and things. That's what these are all for. So I actually have kind of a plan. And I don't know if y'all been with me the whole time, but here's some others that I've done, and they're really pretty wackadoodle. But I think what I don't use in the collage, I can cut into an 8.5 by 11 and sell down at Florence. Because people, I think, would pay for hand decorate. Ooh, this one's dark, isn't it? Woo! Lots of black on that one. Here's a tiny one. So, that's the whole, that's my reasoning for why you see me doing all these things. This one's dry. I like it. I like it better than when we started. Let's check this one. Okay, yeah. And see now, okay, this is dry. So now it's ready to receive its last coat of varnish. And you guys, I don't spray varnish. And forgive me if you've already heard this from me, but I'll say it in case there's someone new in here. I don't spray varnish because if you read the back of the can on the spray varnish, typically, like Krylon is one example, and there are some others, but they'll say something like, do not use if humidity is above whatever percentage. And they really mean that. They're not joking. And I thought, oh, that's a bunch of... So I had a painting and I took it outside and it was a little humid and I sprayed this painting. Something about spraying that stuff in a humid environment, the particles of paint as they go through the air, like pick up moisture. And they actually have like water in the droplets or something. And it's the equivalent of spraying your painting with light gray spray paint. It puts like a fog over everything. And it's ruined. You can't take it off. You can't bring it back. It's done. So I've gone to... That's why I was excited about discovering that the glue and water mixture is a really good sealant for the Posca, because if I brush on varnish over Posca, it just smears everywhere. Makes me so unhappy. So, yeah. So I do the brush on varnishes and I'm pleased with them, and I really am liking this Cheap Joe's varnish, and I'm going to get that next time instead of the what I usually get. So this is, it dried, and now I've sealed it. I think I got everywhere, got everything. All that's left is for me to sign it later, which I will do, because I forgot. But I'm going to call that finished. I like it. I'm good. I'm going to stop right there. So, anyway, this is probably kind of the end of this little series on tissue paper collage, and I have no idea what we're going to do next. If anyone has any suggestions, wishes, recommendations, thoughts, I'm open to any and all suggestions. You can drop me a message in the group or on Messenger, or post or write it right here if you'd like. I mean, I do a lot of stuff, y'all. We could do I mean, we could do felt Christmas ornaments. You know what I'm saying? We can do anything we want. So I think I've done everything I can do with bleeding tissue paper collage. I think I've demoed everything I know about it. It's like that commercial where the guy's sitting in front of his computer and it says, "You have reached the end of the internet." He's like, huh? That's the way I feel. We've sort of reached the end of this. Now I could sit here and just work and talk to you guys while I work and make more of these, which I could do, but I don't want you guys to be bored either. I want you to gain something from being here with me. I want you to learn, or if I can do something that, if you're a Patreon supporter, and a lot of you are, you know, your voice counts, and I want to know what you want to do. So that's the whole part. That's the whole point. So yeah, that's a thing. I'm happy with this. And if I hadn't have been talking to you guys while I did this, I might not have just done that. I don't think I would have done that. So I'm very pleased. I feel like that's I don't know why, but someone might like it for their kitchen or their bedroom, or I don't know, it's happy. It's bright and happy. So, okay, let's see how this guy finished up. How does he look? He's not bad. I like the overall look of him. I think he's okay. I'll varnish that a little later. I do want to still give it some time to dry. Okay, that's good. Let's check on... Whoa! Okay. The one with the Payne's Gray, it ran. And it ran down a bag of stuff. It's not too bad. But it wasn't as flat as I thought it was. So let's see what we got now. This looks like a sad mess. But that's okay. That's alright. It ran, oh my gosh, it really, really, really ran. The paper warped and then made it go up like this, so it all ran. Isn't that funny? But you know what? This to me is still beautiful because I can take this and cut it or tear it, and see, like this right here, it looks like, so I could put this on a greeting card. This looks like trees, like a stand of trees. If I put this here, so that's all you see. Do you see what I'm saying? You see how that looks like a couple of trees? That's probably what I'll do with that. And the rest of it, you know, I can embellish or go back with my Poscas or anything. So, serendipity. I like this bright green. I'm happy with that. I like how this blue is showing through and these colors are all playing together. They're still wet. I'm going to give this some more time. But yeah. And you know, I can come in here with my Poscas that are, oh look. See, I got the edge of this in this and got this on that tissue paper. That's okay, it won't hurt the tissue paper. But this is what happens to me. Oh, Deb, might the flexible, leathery nature of the many layers allow a different use of the finished papers? Are you talking about maybe a journal cover or something? Possibly. I think this would be a great journal cover. And you could cut this in half, and so you'd have a front and a back, and you could you know, insert the middle and do your thing. It'd be great. The edges are a little wonky. You may want to trim them or round them or something. And this is rough, this part, because I have stuff over here and I lay this down and it gets in it and I move it around and it's all stuck to everything. But yeah, I don't know why in the world you couldn't. And because yeah, she says anything, just wondering. Yeah, it's very kind of me doing this. I hope you can kind of hear how it feels. Yeah. So yep, you could. And you could embellish it with other things. You could stick stuff on it. You could do little brass buttons, or you could do letters or numbers. There are so many things that you could do with this. I mean, this does not have to be finished. This could be just the beginning of, this could be a 50-pound painting when you're done, which is how I typically roll. So anyway, well, I think that's about it. I think I've covered everything, and if there aren't any questions or anything, I suppose I'll sign off and see you next time, next Friday at 10. I'm undecided at this point, but we'll be doing something even if it's wrong, and hopefully it will be fun. So, thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so very much. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Take care, you guys.